Excellent. Okay, I'd like to call the Parks and Trails Advisory Board meeting for Thursday, October 19th to order. Chelsea, would you mind doing roll call for us, please?
Alexandria, she's absent. Ryan, not here yet. David.
Here.
Dawn.
Present.
Kimberly, we don't have yet. Rebecca. Here. Will.
Present.
And Lori, we do not have yet.
Okay. Anybody have any changes to the agenda they'd like to request? Additions, deletions? Nothing? Excellent. Public comment. We have a couple of citizens with us. Are you interested in speaking tonight? Oh, sure. It's really fun. You got it. We'll give you a rain check on that one.
We gained Ryan too just now. He's online.
Oh, great. Thank you. Consent agenda. We have minutes from September meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Excellent. Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, good to see you.
Close and personal.
Yeah. New business. Rochelle.
Okay. Well, good evening, Parks Board, and there's some individuals online that are going to be doing a little bit of a presentation for us tonight, so I'll just take a second and introduce myself. My name is Rochelle Anderholm-Parsh. I'm the Park and Recreation Director, and welcome to those folks that are online. And there's two items that we're going to be speaking about tonight, and before we do that, I'd also like to take a second and put Patrick Deppa on the spot. He is the city's new senior planner and has been with the city for 1 month and comes to us from Benton County. And is it anything else you want to tell us about, or that's good? Did I good summary?
No, I'm just excited to be here. Everything that you guys are doing is very much in my wheelhouse and stuff I enjoy to do. So I'm kind of excited. Come from a little place that was a little bit more subdued. County planning doesn't move as fast as city, so I'm glad I'm back working and enjoy everybody that I've met so far. So,
Well, Patrick, welcome.
thank you.
We're quite happy to have you with us this evening. You had mentioned that we have the two items, Kelso Road to talk about and Ponder Lane. You mentioned that you might want to flip flop those.
Yeah, there's some folks online for discussion of Ponder Lane. So if you want to do that first, and then we can maybe let them go sooner.
I'm fine with that. Are you guys okay with that? Okay, let's do it.
Okay. All right, so there will be two subdivisions tonight that we'll talk about. And first we'll talk about the Ponder Lane subdivision. And like I mentioned, we've got some folks here from AKS Engineering and then Pulte Group. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Please correct me if I've got that wrong. And I'm just going to highlight real quick about the subject property that they will be speaking about tonight and just providing a quick overview. So the subject property you can see here is highlighted in this blue dash line, and it's north of 211 and it's west of Ponder Lane. So to provide a little bit of context, we've talked about Ponder Lane in the past in a future park. That's this parcel right here. There was a pre-app conference in June to discuss the property's annexation. And that's been the last time that we've talked about this property. And again, there's a proximity to a future park, which is listed in our 2022 Parks and Trails Master Plan. And there's probably the likelihood that if this subdivision moves forward, there'll be a future pre-app, which will discuss the development. And like we are charged with as a Parks Board, it's up to us to discuss whether we want to do the fee in lieu versus parkland dedication. So that's why we're bringing this before the Parks Board. So some highlights. The property is plus or minus about 15.71 acres. They're hoping to put in 55 single-family dwellings. If that were to be the case, the parkland dedication would be 1.12 acres of property, or a fee in lieu would be approximately $973,000. This is a snippet of our Parks and Trails Master Plan. And again, to give you an idea of the proximity, if you can see my cursor, This little purple piece of property here is Ponder Lane. And the subject property would sit somewhere over here on the outside of the city limits. And of course, this isn't to scale, this is pretty tiny. But here's the future park property, just as a reminder what the concept plan is. In the Parks and Trails Master Plan, it includes an open space for dogs, a multi-use field, a little bit of a playground space, some minor parking, and shelters and some tables. So something for the Parks Board to consider today, like I had mentioned, is whether the Parks Board would recommend to the Planning Commission fee in lieu versus parkland dedication. So the applicant has raised the possibility of a fee in lieu of parkland dedication. So if the board considers this option, the estimated fee in lieu would be approximately $973,000. The Parks and Trails Master Plan has already included a concept of the plan for Ponder Lane Park, indicating that there is land dedicated and earmarked for future parks. The other consideration would be recommended for parkland dedication, and again, it's 1.12 acres. And ideally, the Parks Board has talked about how if there's going to be a parkland dedication, ideally it would be next to or adjacent to an existing piece of future park property. So those are the two things that I want to open it up for discussion for the Parks Board. And again, we have a representative from AKS and Poultry Group. And I guess I wish I could introduce the folks online, but if I'm happy to hand it over. Mr. Robertson, if that's okay with you, to the presentation of the Ponder Lane folks.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Hi, this is Rand Waltz with AKS Engineering. Hang on a second. There you go. Here, hi everyone. I just wanted to thank everyone for discussing our project tonight. We've got basically everything that I was going to say has been said already. I've got John and Majib from the Pulte Group with me. We're here to answer any questions you might have. Basically, as it was put earlier, that we're just looking to see if the Parks and Trail Advisory Board is going to be looking for a parkland dedication or a fee in lieu. And that's about it. If you got any questions, just let us know. Thank you.
Okay, can we go back to the master plan real quick?
Absolutely.
I do have a quick question too. You said just a second ago that it was 1.12, on the paper it says 1.94.
In the findings?
Yeah, it says Ponder Lane Neighborhood Park. Ponder Lane is recently acquired undeveloped 1.94 acre parcel located on the south side of Sandy.
Correct. So that's
And then it's a
the,
highlight of the park.
yep, that's the existing Ponder Lane Park.
Oh, okay,
Parcel?
there's already a park there.
Yep, the future parcel with the 55 single family residents would be 1.12 of land dedicated. Does that make sense?
Is it close to the other parcel?
Yeah, so I'll bring the map up again here. We could take a look at that. Okay, so in the presentation, so can you guys all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. This property here with the blue
That's
diagonal,
where the actual units would be.
yep,
Right.
and this here, and then right in this area just to the northeast of Gunderson that's Ponder Lane, the
Okay,
future park parcel. That's
that's one we
1.9.
already own.
Correct.
Okay. And where's gonna be the new one if we do,
It would be somewhere in this big box.
oh, it'd be in the big box.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be, okay.
So it's not adjacent to the existing.
No, it is not.
That's kind of thing.
That's what I was trying to figure out. That would, yeah.
But,
That'd be cool.
yeah, but it's not adjacent. Now, okay, this is what I wanted to say. So here is Ponder Lane is NP6, you said?
Yeah, this is little parcel right here.
Oh, right there, okay.
Yep.
All righty, I was wondering about that little panhandle coming off, if that was gonna be developed. We go back to the side before that. This whole panhandle, I didn't know what
What is that? It doesn't look big enough to develop.
No, I believe it's probably a half of a street right of way. But I'd like the AKS folks to address that. What's the future of that little panhandle gonna be?
That is kind of up in the air right now. Oops, sounded a little garbled there. It's up in the air right now. It's just a function of how that property was parceled out a long time ago. Yeah, we're not sure right yet. We've talked to the city about it before, and we're all not quite sure yet.
Is Ponder Lane a private drive or is that public?
That is, a portion of it is public and a portion of it is in a access easement.
Highway 211 and then straight off to Ponder.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird
So
intersection.
this is that new development that just
Correct.
went in. Okay, I see where
About a
I'm at.
year ago.
Rochelle, question. So is the existing Ponder Lane property, does that come up just because it says that we've got a part near there already?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. And so it's in the Parks and Trails master plan as a future parcel that the city owns that's scheduled to be developed.
But the reason it came up in this conversation is because of its proximity, not. 'cause it's
Correct.
adjacent.
Right.
Correct.
Got it.
The other thing that's close is Bornstead Park. Well, it's not on the map. It would
But
be
it would be down there.
right about there.
That's not close when you're talking about a park,
Well, it's not close when you got.
especially
When you have to
Paper
cross
roll
211.
legs.
Highway
Might as
211.
well be
Right.
Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is the kind of the neighborhood. We also have, to the north, there's the Tickle Creek Trail, just,
Yeah.
you know, to kind of get the lay of the land there.
So can we go back to the map of the layout? I mean, I guess my only, so this part here is obviously gonna serve this single family residence right there. And it's gonna serve, you know, this first section of Keta and Pink and maybe even a little bit of Cascadia Village Drive. But I don't see it serving Sockeye, Coho, and Steelhead and 55 units of the new property.
Our standard, I believe, is quarter-mile radius or half-mile radius on neighborhood parks. Do you recall?
I don't recall. I don't mean to,
I know it's
Ask
2
Patrick.
acres, not 1.9.
yeah,
So we're just a smidgen
Just a-
short of
yeah.
that.
yeah.
And that's a lot of, that's, what are we talking? Are we talking about 1 and 3 bedroom or 2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms? What are we talking about? SKF, AKS?
It's single family detached housing to meet the SFR zone, the single family residential zone of the city. They have a minimum lot square footage of 7,500 square feet, so those are probably gonna be on the larger home sizes.
Yeah, so it'll be very similar to the adjacent neighborhood, which
That's correct.
7,500, I assume it's the same builder.
No,
No, that's different builder.
Yeah, it would be, this is John Schmidt with Pulte. It would be, similar home sizes to what's right there to the west in the Lennar project. So it's 1 and 2 story homes, probably mostly 2 story homes and 3 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet, maybe on average or something like that.
No, like I said, I mean, have these been built yet?
Yeah, that's all built out.
So it's just
now.
an old picture.
Yeah,
I don't see that little parcel housing that many people. I mean, you figure 4 to 5 people per house.
right. But what we're gonna end up with is a 1.1 acre. piece of
Yeah, I
property.
mean, it's enough for a playground and.
I think usually for homes of this type, in the past, I've seen used around 2 to 2.5 people per residence in terms of the number of people that would be living there on average.
Okay. Oh, 120 people, give or take. Will, do you have any questions?
No.
Beck, do you have any questions?
To comment sort of, I guess, along David said, there's a mini park in my little neighborhood and it gets used a lot and it's nice to have.
I mean, I'm between Mining Park and whatever, what was the mining, what is the park up, is it Timberland?
Yeah.
Timberline
Up off of
Ridge.
Van Fleet? Yeah, and I mean, they're both always used.
That's where I'm
mean,
at too. It's,
Oh,
Okay.
That's a good representation. How, I don't know how big Timberline Park is.
doesn't look that big, but I mean,
according, like, it's designated as a mini park, right? I
Just
think.
a minute, it's fine.
It's just under 2 acres, and in the other staff report, or in the presentation here, I actually broke down park acreage. Mini parks are less than 1 acre, neighborhood parks are considered 2 to 5. Open and natural space are 10 to 100 plus acres, and that can vary, and then community parks are 10 to 30.
so Timberland Park is a mini park, so it's just under 1 acre.
Yeah, how big is Timberline?
387.
So yes, under a mini park.
So I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
it
pretty
doesn't seem big
decent
enough
park
to-
for the way the layout
Right.
is, for the amount of housing that is taking up the space.
The one thing too, if I may just make a comment, the Parks and Trails Master Plan does point to level of service regarding the size of parks and the amenities in parks. One of the things the Parks and Trails Master Plan identified was that the system itself is saturated with mini parks and they're, and very high maintenance. So the goal in the Parks and Trails Master Plan is to develop neighborhood parks and community parks.
Right.
Mhm.
Remember that now, yeah. It's nice to have, but from a department perspective.
So
it's-
under that
Thanks.
category, then even Ponder Lane Park doesn't fall under either category, because it doesn't fall under mini park or neighborhood park.
Almost.
It's
It's
one
gonna be.
tenth of 1 acre short
Yeah.
of a neighborhood park standard. My personal feeling is I would rather have in this case, because of the location of Ponder Lane, I know you're concerned about the walking distance for young legs.
Well, it's not just walking, it's safety too. I mean, Highway 211.
Yeah, but I was thinking more of the new neighborhood. I think I would lean towards the cash and using that to buy a significant piece of land someplace. Something that we can develop for active use, more active use. Whether it's, designated as baseball or softball or soccer, it'd be nice to be able to put something else that we can actually accommodate that. So that's just kind of my feeling with the parcels. So I guess from my perspective, I would rather hit the cash as opposed to what's behind door number 1.
Well, and I think just, the master plan was well thought through and just from a department perspective and a city perspective, it does make sense monetarily or upkeep wise or whatever, that if we're trying to get away from mini parks and try to develop more of our community and neighborhood parks, then that's the way we should go.
Yes.
The downside to many parks is it oftentimes costs more money to drive to it to do the maintenance than it does to do the maintenance. The good side to them is it does make a nice amenity for individual neighbors.
So what's the maintenance and cleanup costs on that dog park for that many units and that many people? I mean, say each house has 1 dog that goes to the dog park. I mean, what's the maintenance to keep that little dog park clean? I mean, we spend quite a bit of money to keep the other dog park.
I'll defer that to Tiana. As far as,
And that one's half the size of the other one with not as many units next to it.
well, right now, pretty much everybody in the city goes to the other one.
I think we have identified a need that the city does need another dog park. We don't have enough to serve the needs there. The dog park itself You know, we service it twice a week to take care of the waste that's there. We mow it once a week. In comparison, Timberline has been vandalized multiple times a month over this past season. Extensive damage there. It's a pretty costly park to maintain. We're comparing a mini park and the maintenance at one. A similar size.
And Rochelle, what's your recommendation of staff?
I would suggest, based on the proximity to Ponder Lane and the likelihood that we won't receive property that's adjacent to it, it would be it would fall under the mini category, and it would be more cost prohibited for the staff to go out and take care of it and serve our purposes. And it is a goal of the city council to identify future park property and look at land acquisition, and accepting the fee in lieu in this case would provide us the ability to really pursue that.
Any other comments, questions?
I'm just,
concerns?
I'm not sold on the only 120, give or take a few people. I mean, each one of those houses are at least a 2 to 3 bedroom house, and I mean, some of them are a bit bigger. You're talking 4 to 5 people per residence. I mean, those numbers don't add up. I'm not sold on the amount of people that you're expecting that 1 2-acre park to handle, and especially in the areas that it's in with no other parks anywhere near it. I mean, the next closest park would be the one up by Tickle Creek Trail, is that little mini park there, and or the parks, Mining Park and Timberland Park would be the next 2 closest parks. I mean, you're looking at a lot of people there.
Yes.
Question. What's the timeline on Ponder Lane? It needs the Gunderson Road extension, right? To even be considered.
That's been completed.
Okay, that is done.
Yeah, half street improvement has been completed. I don't know if the full street has been.
Oh, that's a new entrance. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So what's this the development of this parcel in our kind of master plan timeline?
Yeah, I believe Ponder Lane is a 1 to 5 year, and the way that it's written in the council goals is there's a priority to complete the community campus park project. Money's been dedicated to that. Deer Point has received money dedicated from SDCs to complete that project in this biennium. And then the way that it's worded in the city council goals, if there's additional funds or grants, Ponder Lane and Champion Way are on the list to also try to complete within this biennium. The question mark is resources.
Right, so it's like number 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
And do we currently have funds available to build Ponder Lane?
We do not currently have funds, yeah. We would have to work towards that in the next biennium.
And so with these funds, if we did fee in lieu, go directly to Ponder Lane, or would they go to something else like the community center park?
Fee in lieu is a separate pot of money that's specifically for future land acquisition for
So it's
future
not to
parks.
build parks.
Nope.
SDCs on the other hand.
And we will still get SDCs from this development.
And would the STCs from this development go directly to Ponder Lane? Or would that area still be swamped with no park?
Yeah, so the SDCs sit in a pot of money that's used to prioritize the parks in the capital improvement plan that's adopted via the council. However, that was the caveat that was put in, like, if we had SDC funds or funds to build additional parks, Ponder Lane and Champion Way are mentioned. And part of the reason that we're under a moratorium, and so there's a little bit of a hesitancy. We were pretty conservative when it came to the SDC budget. So any of these developments that come in for SDCs are potential to more money into that pocket.
So, okay, then my next question, I guess, is with Ponder Lane and Champion being 3 and 4 down the line, how much deficit is there on the other parks that are coming first? Is it gonna swallow up the STCs before we even get to 3 and 4?
Well, so there's money, yes, this biennium, there's money dedicated to the community campus park in Deer Point. So if,
To finish it or just to start it and? move
Yep.
us on?
so we will complete the community campus park project roughly the winter of 2025. We're gonna hopefully, and that's part of the staff report, and then there is money dedicated to complete and do Deer Point. This
We have the
biennium.
funds for that,
Yep.
and then after that, so that's projects 1 and 2.
Yep,
right?
yep.
So then this,
So then we're not looking at Ponder Lane or Champion until 2025, 2026.
not necessarily,
Mhm. Not necessarily. The way it's listed in the council goals, if, let's say miraculously, the moratorium, there's, gets lifted, we're getting money in for SDCs, we're able to go out and get another grant. It's listed as something that we would try to accomplish in this biennium. Right now, there's not specific money dedicated to it, but the way it's worded is, it's on a list. And it's in our Parks and Trails Master Plan, which that in itself has made it, it's listed as a, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
now, what is our projected SDC revenues for this development?
Wow, I would have to email the group that. I don't have that off the top of my head.
How about the projected SDC? Well, let me back up a little bit. Will this project be able to be built, the house portion of it be able to be built prior to the moratorium being lifted, or is it in line to be built once the moratorium is lifted?
I don't know the answer to. I don't, and I think Patrick Snoo probably doesn't know if it's in the hopper. If you give me a second, I can probably find that answer for you. So,
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep asking you questions.
Do.
Where you're doing that.
okay.
Okay, so the next question I was gonna ask you is about the number of units that are multifamily that are across the street. Across 211. I believe there were 70 units. Jason de Bornstead Park,
Okay,
Cascadia Village Lane or something like that.
yeah,
that I can look up too. I don't have that off the top of my head either.
and then,
Those are townhome styles.
right, and then we're also talking about another 50 unit, no, how many units on the next agenda item?
41.
41.
Mhm.
Okay, so if we add the 70 units plus the 55 units plus the 41 units, that's a lot of units. Is any of that SDC money already programmed for the community park or Deerfield Park? Or do we have that money in hand already?
We projected with conservatively, some of the developments already in the hopper to bring in the SDC revenue to complete Deer Point.
Okay, so that money's already in hand.
Yes,
The money for the community park is already in hand.
already in hand.
So everything that we're talking about, the 70 units next to Bornstead, the 55 units on this development, the 41 units that we're gonna talk about next, all SDCs unclaimed at this point and ready to go for projects number 3 and 4.
Mhm, correct. And then Cascadia Apartments, if this Excel spreadsheet is still accurate, this is what we use for the budgeting process, had 80 dwellings, but it was apartments. And I'll fact check that and send an email out to the Parks Board. And then Ponder Lane is not on this list. So it must have been, this is probably new enough. I know that they had the conversation and maybe AKS could answer this about just the annexation of the property. So I don't know if they've had a follow-up conversation with planning about the actual,
Okay, we have one more question for you.
okay.
How critical is it that we make a decision tonight?
I would defer that to the developers who I think were hopping online tonight to see if the Parks Board was leaning one way or the other. I can tell you that I am comfortable with the pace that the Parks Board wants to take their time to answer this and really evaluate it. We can always bring it back at the next meeting if you'd like. They don't, unless AKS wants to chime in. I don't believe they have another pre-conference meeting planned for this actual 55 single family residents. So John, is that accurate? I see you're unmuted. Do you have an update?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we're gearing up to, we're revising our site plan, or taking into account the feedback that we got at the pre-application conference. And then we're kind of gearing up to submit for the annexation application. And so since the decision on this matter is so significant and so impactful to the layout, it is, there is some urgency on our side to get the matter resolved. So we kind of know what, if we're gonna have to set aside the land for that park and let it, let that inform our layout accordingly, and then pull together all of our materials in support of our annexation application, consistent with what we've learned. So, so on our end, it's the sooner the better.
Right, but so let's talk a little bit about your timeline. You'll need to annex prior to approval for construction or prior to moving forward with the project, correct?
Yeah, we need to get through the get the property annexed into the city, and it's my understanding that then and only then can we submit the land use application for the preliminary plat approval. So then so we've got, let's say 4 or 5 months to get through the annexation, then 4 or 5 months or more to get through preliminary plat approval. And then we can, submit engineering plans after that. And so really it's at least a couple years out, probably more like 3 years out until we're breaking ground and actually being able to put in infrastructure.
And that's assuming that it aligns with the moratorium. I mean, that needs to be resolved.
Where are we at on the timeline of the moratorium? Because I know we're on a hold till we get that new sewer processing plant built. Where are we at on that?
I believe they're doing a stress test, and once they do that, they'll have more information on the update of the moratorium, and I believe that's coming up.
And I wanted to chime in. You had asked about SDCs. You currently have a Parks SDC rate of 88.97 for a single family home, and just the kind of the ballpark numbers out there is 490,000 in SDC fees for this project, and 365,000 for that other project that you're going to talk about, the 41 lot, for a total of about 850,000.
Okay. Pretty fair chunk of change for development.
And that could be used to actually build the parks.
Correct.
Okay.
Ryan, haven't heard anything from you?
I've been listening in, and I was kind of leaning towards the fee in lieu for that park, just because of the fact that of the size of it and the location, and based on like what Tiana's feedback was regarding like the maintenance and like how much cost it is for those smaller parks compared to what is actually gained from it. So I was just kind of listening in and just kind of debating that and just thinking of it from that perspective.
So the way I look at it, we have a couple of choices tonight. We can recommend land, we can recommend fee in lieu, or we can wait to get a little bit more information and tackle it again next month. But all due respect to you folks, I don't want to hang you guys up too much either. So
Will the evaluation on the stress test be in before next month's meeting?
I don't know. Yeah, that's an area that I'm not intimately involved with, but I can check on when they're planning on doing that. So.
I think we need to download more responses. In the word I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Say download more.
The Office Depot button, that was easy.
Yeah.
So I guess my question for the group, and Ryan, the disembodied voice here. Is anybody feeling a motion that they'd like to make?
I motion that we wait till next month's meeting to actually make the decision. Hopefully the
Moratorium.
Yes, thank you. Stress test would be in, so we know what the actual timeline on that is. And as it is right now, I'm more towards parkland than I am. I think there's just too many people, too many neighborhoods in that area to even if the cost to build a mini park is more sufficient than, significant than what we're trying to go for, I think that the mini parks are,
Let's just stick to the motion right now.
so I motion that we wait.
Is there a second to that motion? Not hearing a second, not sure that we really.
I'm not sure what we're going to, sorry.
I think the motion, if I can paraphrase, is to bring this back before the committee next month.
Is there time for a quick question? Or
Sure, go ahead.
I just, I guess I don't understand how the findings from the stress test would impact the decision making on this. I mean, we know that the moratorium's out there and that, that's kind of hanging over our heads as it relates to the annexation, although as you're surely aware, the city council reached a decision a couple months ago that made it so that the annexation applications could take place while this moratorium is getting sorted out. And it all, based on what I've heard, it looks like it's on a good path, and it'll almost certainly be resolved by, the 3 years or so from now, from when we might want to actually make sewer connections. And so it just doesn't seem like the issues are connected.
At this point, we don't have a second for the motion, so the motion dies for lack of second.
Okay.
Which gives us back to a couple of options again. We could make a recommendation. Or we could revisit the opportunity to bring it back to the group next month.
I feel comfortable. I feel like we have the information we need.
Okay, want to make a motion?
I would make a motion to accept the.
Okay. Is there a second for that motion?
Yeah,
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Further discussion? This is for the board, not for the folks on viewing other than Ryan. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions or amongst ourselves.
So like I was saying, I think that with the roads conjoining with the upper neighborhood by, I don't know what that road's called, but it's DeBarco. And then the next one, I think that property there, and I think the new property, plus the one across from 211, that there's just a whole lot of houses there and not enough parks. Mini park or not mini park, I just, there's still a lot of houses there, and then Ponder Lane is all the way on the other end. Can we go to that map? Where it shows Ponder Lane, no, the Ponder Lane part, where it shows like the development.
That one.
Yeah, so I mean, none of Rachel, Melissa, DeBarco has that little tiny park somewhere right there. But Rachel, Melissa, and I don't know what that other, what's this one up here? There's no parks up there at all. So now you've got one park all the way down here by 211, gonna cover Canetta, Pink, Sockeye, Coho, Steelhead, Rachel, Melissa, that one there I can't see. Plus all 55 of those ones.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to, because in respect of David's, motion and his, where he's coming from. I see this as a continuing problem as we build 40 unit developments, continuing problems. So my perspective is that I would rather start pooling that money that has to go to buy land now, rather than building more mini parks, so that we can buy a chunk. I don't know when that's possible, I don't know where that's possible, but I just see this ongoing thing, you know what I mean?
And I
see it
don't,
perpetuate.
I don't disagree with you, but by looking at this map, there's no land there to be bought.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which
I don't
means
know.
those are always going to be locked in by more and more developments with less and less parks. Because this here next to is gonna be another big development. Eventually that there is gonna be another big development. And we're running out of land to buy those plots to create a decent sized park for everybody in that section.
Brian, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with us for the discussion?
I understand like where David's coming from, and I kind of second with Will because like how many like all these little tiny parks and like it's just a bunch of tiny little parks as they keep on developing these sections. And I know that we need the park space, but I just don't know if like necessarily like a bunch of little smaller parks are better than like pulling the money together and getting a larger park potential. And I know that David, you're saying made a good point that there's not going to a lot of parks in that area with a lot of the housing developments that are there. But I just don't know if it like meets within the plan because I think wasn't it correct, Michelle, that they were looking more for like larger plots of land for going forward? Is that correct? For the parks?
Yes, that's correct. And one thing to note too is any of these smaller parcels that are purchased need to go through a concept planning and the same process as some of those other ones. So with these smaller parcels, they could remain small parcels for a long time that might not be developed.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Rochelle, what's our pool of money right now for the plan land?
We have $1.3 million in fee and lieu
Currently in hand.
currently in hand.
Okay. So 1.3 million, and if we took this in, it'd be another nearly $1 million.
It's over to, we put it at 2.1 million.
Yeah. Okay. We have a motion. The motion being to accept fee and lieu. We have a second to that motion. We've discussed it. I call for the question. All those in favor of the motion to recommend fee and lieu signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Next topic.
All right.
I like your Seahawk that scarf there, Ryan.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm in my classroom now.
Our guests, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we can see my screen. Perfect. Okay. We get to talk another piece of property today. Okay, so same discussion around the Kelso Road subdivision. And this one is a 41 lot subdivision, and highlighting this division, it's west of Bluff. So if you guys can all see this map here, here's Bluff. This is north up here. You can see here, west of Bluff. It sits east of Jewelberry and south of Kelso Road. This is the development right here.
And this
And
was the 40 units.
41 units, correct. Yep. The property is roughly 9.67 acres, 41 lot subdivision. The 41 lot subdivision, if you were to do a parkland dedication, is just under an acre at 0.84. And then fee and lieu for this property, if we were to choose fee and lieu versus parkland dedication, is $721,000.
Okay.
So it's recognized according to the Parks and Trails Master Plan that a park's needed in this area. But again, like we just spent some time talking about, the property size matters. And the Parks and Trails Master Plan does not call out for mini parks, but neighborhood parks and community parks. And this is a breakdown here of the size of mini parks, neighborhood parks, open space, and community parks. So it's important to note that there's a strong desire to utilize funds obtained from the fee and lieu for the acquisition of larger parcels and parkland rather than accepting slightly under an acre of parkland dedication. And then again, like we talked about, this aligns with the city council goals to actively pursue parcels that are available for purchase, contributing to the long-term enhancement of the community recreation spaces.
Do we have any guests with us tonight regarding this parcel?
We do not.
Okay.
So we are familiar with the Parks and Trails Master Plan and the proposed plan. You can see up in this area that it calls out for a community park. So with that quick summary, and then I'll turn it over to Dawn and if the Parks Board for discussion. But staff's recommendation in regard to this would be fee in lieu, accepting fee in lieu. The estimated fee would be $721,000. And then again, funds could be allocated for the future purchase of parkland dedication that aligns with the city's long-term planning goals. And then I do have suggested motion language, but for now I will bring this property or this map up to assist in the discussion, or we can look at this one.
Yeah, actually, let's go
I like
stay at
that.
this one. right
This one here, okay?
Okay, so the subject property is how big again?
It is
Oh,
9.67 acres.
Okay, so that's 9.67 acres there. Um, And where's the urban growth boundary in relation to this property?
This piece of property is in this piece of property. Let me bring that up for you. I can actually bring up a map for you that shows it.
They will need to annex it, so it's in the
Okay,
city limits,
we'll need to annex it.
yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting my parcels messed up. Yeah, it's an interesting, it kind of,
It's like a,
yeah, it's a weird shape of the UGB of the
so
property.
the property surrounding this property, is it inside the city limits or outside the city limits?
This property here is inside the city limits.
Which one's outside the city limits?
I'll bring up a map for you
I
guys in
think she just-
2
whoops.
seconds.
I think you just said next lot 300 adjacent was inside the city limits.
That's what I heard too.
I'll show you. There are copies of the map in your packet too, if you want.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
this map is not up right here.
Does that show
Which one are
UGB
we-
in there?
No.
No, this one's not close to any parks.
Yeah, it just had me in that process. I just mapped it somehow.
And I'll share my screen with you in a second. Actually, are you on Google?
Actually, if you go back to the master plan. That might show city limits, and I believe that shows. Urban reserves. At UGB.
Take a look. Otherwise, I do have Google Earth up if we want to take a look at that. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that, but it's not the, doesn't show the,
Yeah, of course, I'm asking my computer to do a bunch of stuff now and it's not responding.
oh.
There we go.
Sorry. Okay,
I can answer this, I think it's a general question that, all that land up in that area kind of shows it on your parks,
yeah,
map there too. The
Mhm.
whole area from Bluff to Jewelberry is, inside the city limits and the urban growth boundary, except for this one piece. It just dips down. Everything else up in that area is inside the,
okay, so all the adjacent property is inside the city limits
inside
now.
the city limits. Yeah, for some reason, it just dips down right there.
That's
for
weird.
Just this part.
Historically, it was an old.
Can we hold this
an
thing
old
still for
nursery.
just a second, Rochelle?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to zoom in.
Don't,
There's a delay.
just don't, it's all good.
Are you sick? I'm sorry.
Yeah. We can see just fine.
Well,
So this is the parcel that we're talking.
right here.
I think
Oh,
it's-
that's, this is the
historically,
parcel that
it's
we're
old
talking about.
This
Yes.
is the development. This is the 9 acres that you were talking about. Which part dump dips down that we're not, that's not in city limits?
The parcel itself.
This is not in city limits.
Yeah.
This parcel right here is in city limits.
Yeah.
And You can trace this red line. I will do it for us and don't throw up. Let's see here.
How,
Wait, now I lost it. It's confusing.
how is that one in
You
front
can
of it
see.
on Jewelberry city limits, but the one behind it is not?
See how that
It's
gets,
just a weird,
yep.
somewhere along the line,
Some
somebody made
historical legacy.
a unique decision. So the property to the east is inside the city limits also, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So then if it's not in city limits and it's not annexed yet, annexed yet, then how are we to make a decision on it?
Well, it's the same as the last one.
The last one's in city limits.
No, the last one was not. a city
It's waiting
limit.
to be
It
annexed. That's why it was
waiting
2
to
to
be
3 years out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I assume that this one's gonna be on a similar timeline.
Does anybody else want me to fly around the map a little bit?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We tilt it.
So we'll leave this up for a little bit. okay?
Don't move it? Okay.
Just don't move it.
Also, this developer is in favor of fee and lieu
Okay.
there. They're on board with that.
And if it makes it easier, there is a map with the urban growth boundary right
Does
there as
that one
well.
move and zoom in and out and everything?
No,
I can,
it's stationary.
I can hold it for you, David, if you want. I can like
They're just
do this for you.
running around.
Yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Okay, you're free to stand up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look at it.
What's the blue line mean? I see the pink line.
City limits.
Mhm.
So city limits is the blue.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, here it is, the subject property, right?
So it's outlined and it is city limits.
Yeah.
It's saying, on this map, it's saying it's city limits.
It's,
No.
no,
It is not.
Is-
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
no,
no
it's not.
line across here.
But it's lined here.
It's because
There's a
on
line
either
all the way
side
across.
is in city limits,
Yeah,
right?
city limits.
Yeah.
City limits. City limits. City limits.
Oh, so they box, since it's not, so it's like that old game we used to play where we do the little box and close it in our initials.
Mhm.
Where's the other
Yeah.
one?
Someone was playing a really bad game. Did nothing to happen through.
Okay.
She's moving it again.
I am. I moved it. I moved it.
Yeah, but I wasn't watching.
She was waiting.
Yeah, this time, yeah. Everyone, yeah, close your eyes.
Okay. So did I hear you say staff is recommending fee and lieu on this?
We are,
Same reason.
for the same reason.
And we don't have any parks over there at all.
No, but we do have a whole lot more vacant land.
Hmm.
And we do have a rather significant purse that's available to purchase land. We do have the opportunity to add to that purse. Any comments, questions, or discussions? Ryan, have you dozed off yet?
No, not yet. I've just been like, the visual was not making me as sick as it was you all. So I was fine.
So
Ryan.
he was
I think it was just me.
Yeah.
I was just like I was just leaning towards fee and lieu again, just based on the size of the park and what we were discussing previously. And just that the developers already in kind of like leaning towards fee and lieu as well. And just like with like, I've been out of city limits like the last one was, I don't know, I just think that right now fee and lieu probably makes the most sense based on where we're at and what we've done so far and what our goals are as the plan. Master plan.
Okay. Rebecca, what's your feeling?
Everything Ryan said. It's an easier decision this time. so.
Well,
Have we ever not had a builder say, hey, I want to give you land? I don't think so. Yeah, it's the same.
actually, I believe the builder, on the last discussion, the one where the houses were, did want to give us land.
Really?
And they did give us that, they were the ones that acquired that parcel and gave it to us. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's the same, it's just the same.
Same
discussion.
argument. Okay.
We need money to buy a chunk.
Yeah.
I'm more on board with this one than I was the last one, just because this one is not as crowded as this one,
That's the last one.
as the last one, so I mean, be okay with fee in lieu on this one, just because again, it's not as crowded.
Right.
Um,
And
so,
there's a lot of available land around, too. Is there a motion? Anybody want to make a motion?
I
Yeah, I
can,
mean, I make a motion that we
Recommend.
recommend field.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Further discussion, anybody have any questions, concerns, issues that they want to discuss? Not hearing or seeing any. Call for the question, all those in favor of fee in lieu signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries. Okay, Rochelle. What's next on our agenda here?
looks like staff updates.
Yeah.
Excellent. I will start and then I'll pass it along to the team. And one of the things that I wanted to make the Parks Board aware of, since we've met last, the city did make a public announcement about the demolition of the aquatic facility and the old Middle Ridge School. And we've made, based on the direction from the city council, we've made progress in doing that. One of the things that just wrapped up this week is the hazardous asbestos abatement for both the facilities. And we're currently working with a civil engineer to come up with the plan for the demolition, which includes erosion control, grading, how to make that property available and safe once those buildings are demoed. There is currently work to vision what that front half would look like. So we understand that the community is in need of a pool, so they're talking about different options. Just,
Hey,
it's.
just a second. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. So we're making strides to vision what the front of that would look like. So coinciding some sad news, we are planning on breaking ground for the community campus park. We're on schedule as far as starting to mobilize sometime in January, February. Those bids will go out in the next couple of months. It is official. I did sign the contract for the local government grant for $485,000. So that is official. We have put
Nice.
ink to paper. So that's exciting, very exciting. So we should celebrate that. And then we are working on the Sandy Bluff Dog Park shelter plans. So we should have those in hand by the end of October. Once we have the shelter plans, we'll reach out and talk to different contractors based on the public contracting, what we have to do, and start getting bids to do the improvements for Sandy Bluff Park. So that is also under the way.
how big was that shelter again?
There's one shelter that's a 16 by 30 and the other one is 8 by 12, I believe. So you guys are asking really good questions tonight.
All numbers.
Yeah, I'm just like, what
Yeah.
is that?
Well, I am excited about that shelter as I am a regular dog park user over there.
Yeah.
Not as regular as my dog would like, but we do get over there.
And in response to what that will look like for those of us who went to school over there, it's gonna very, very bare.
Oh, at this community campus.
I grew up swimming in that pool every single weekend.
Mhm.
Well, hopefully, something will go in on the front half that will be nice and exciting and do something good. Outdoor leisure pool and and maybe fill some of that.
You did have to.
Yeah.
Hopefully members for the next generations.
Well, and
So sad.
yeah, and the department has a lot of other exciting stuff going on, but I'm gonna let other people announce it and celebrate it, and that's what we've been working on.
Okay,
Tiana, you wanna go?
Sure. The department recently received our new Ventrac, which is our mower, snow plow, landscape rake combination tool. We've already put it to use. Hopefully you've got to visit Mining Park and have seen that we put in 124 new plants over in the area where we lost the 2 large firs last December. So we use that piece of equipment to prep that site for those plants, and they're in the, it's been planted, it looks great. The Cedar Creek Trail Build began again this week, so the stringers are now set for the bridge and the trail is being cut.
And that's what is that the trail that's going down?
That's the
That's-
trail off the backside of what's being referred to as the community campus park
That's
right
right.
now, and it'll connect into the
Okay,
Sandy
so
River
that's the
Trail.
name of that trail.
Is that the official name, or that's what we're
That's what
referring to it right
Calling
now?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's the unofficial official name, so the Cedar Creek Trail. Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is very exciting.
Later, don't
It
worry.
is. No, it is the trail.
And then lastly, the team is, we are in full install mode right now for the lights for Winterfest. So we,
I was gonna say, I saw some lights hanging out in Mining Park today.
they are going in. We are well on our way. It's going much smoother than last year. We learned a lot. It's going well. We still have a long ways to go though, but we're very excited. It's gonna be
Fingers
good.
crossed for no frost.
No
Well,
ice.
we
Ice
had,
storm,
we
right?
started
Very soon.
install on Monday. It opened up and downpoured on us when we were first trying to get stuff out of the truck. And then we had a tree fall that evening. So we've already gotten it out of the way.
Right.
We're good.
Sure we did.
Yeah. We're all doing it for you.
Old news, have we done anything about Mining Lake yet?
Yes, oh gosh,
Okay.
it's been well over, yes.
Okay. It could have been a year, because we had Mining Lake last year.
No,
I thought we did.
No.
Oh,
no.
we,
She was all dried up last
where
year.
was,
Yeah.
where's time gone? Jeez. Okay.
yeah, yes, Tiana found a company that could restore pervious asphalt
Okay.
and it worked like a
Okay.
charm. Yeah, so
I
no
did
more
have
lake.
to, at the volunteer thing, I had to ask John how many years I was on the board. Because it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like 2 years.
Wow.
So,
It flies.
Yeah.
And Tamara, real quick, when, and your brother mentioned in the previous meeting, did we do the power upgrades for the lights?
We did.
Yeah, that's.
What else do you have for us, Kiana?
So we're
Yeah.
running off the 6-volt now instead of double A's.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I said we're running off
Batteries,
the
yeah.
6 volts now instead of double A's.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we're just plugging away on the park right now, working fully focused on lights.
Very good.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
I can't wait.
It will be a
I
new
liked it last year,
experience
so.
than what it was last year.
Did we mention Tupper last week?
No,
we should talk about the
Ooh.
prisoners.
What happened with cover?
We haven't told them about the playground? Is that,
I don't think so.
Well, you.
Drum roll.
We included pictures in our minutes.
We,
did we,
yes, I don't think we updated the group on this last time. So we purchased a new playground to
Yes.
replace the playground at Tupper. Did
Yeah,
we,
there was
s-
pictures.
We talked
we
about
did
it.
tell you that.
There were pictures.
There's
Okay.
pictures, you didn't tell us.
You were right.
You just made us find out ourselves.
Really? We
Yeah.
didn't celebrate?
I,
We're so.
I
if-
didn't get to share pictures. I think that's the night that we couldn't present and I couldn't,
That's what
it
it
was
was.
a little
We
like,
talked about it.
Yeah.
kind of fell off because I couldn't show you the
Right.
new playground,
That's
but
what it
yes,
was.
it's,
They're in the
Been
minutes.
Yeah, but there's the pictures in the minutes.
So they're doing a
See, that's how you
fundraiser.
know if we actually read the minutes. if we saw the
Yes,
pictures.
yes.
Make sure.
Chat.
I swear they were minutes.
but there's a fundraiser for it. John will probably speak to you about that next week, next Thursday.
Mhm.
okay.
We have another meeting next Thursday.
No, a fundraiser.
Oh, fun. Okay.
He will talk to you about it in just a second.
I'm gonna talk to you about that right now. I think. So in conjunction with the Tupper Park Playground, we're trying to raise some funds to offset those costs. The first thing we thought of was a booze and brews. So ghosts and adult beverages and having a partner do that. So we are working with Sandbar on Thursday, the 26th. Thursday, the 26th from 6 to 9. They've agreed that 25% of all sales will go to the Parks and Rec Department. They'll have a specialty menu that they're putting together to kind of make ease of it. There'll be Halloween-ish activities there that you can like buy a ticket to go purchase, whether it is throwing eyeball-shaped ping pong balls into cups or cornhole, or there's going to be an artist there that's going to do like spooky sketches of you, things like that, just to go and have fun and raise a little bit of money. And there'll be a small presentation kind of about the decision to get a new park and what's going on there, led by our team. So if you don't have anything on your agenda next Thursday, come down to Sandbar from 6 to 9. And then we're hoping that's fundraiser 1 of many. Unless that magically turns into a $1,000 fundraiser. Which could.
Thousand, that's quite a number.
I
Yeah.
know. Made it up. And then in conjunction with Tiana, again, about all the work they're doing with the install, our team's doing all of the programming right now. This week, we went out to all the businesses on the couplet, in between like Bluff and Tin Ike. And I think we've made face-to-face contact with like 94 businesses so far. We're able to talk to them, kind of show them what our vision is, talk to them about that Merry Makeover Challenge to decorate their storefront. On October 16th, which was that this Monday?
Mhm.
City Council agreed to make Winterfest a community-wide event. When you have official community-wide events, you have less restrictions on how you could decorate. And so some of the code enforcement is loosened to allow for more elaborate decorations. We have already heard back from these forms from about 10 businesses that are excited. So it seems good. Yeah, it's kind of programming and talking to all parties involved. We are working with Knapp Farms, who's going to donate another tree. We've got a much larger tree this year, so we're working with another company to help us erect said tree, and we're working with the Public Works Department and our own facilities department to be there to help guide that work. Working with PGE to fill out permits to decorate our utility poles. Working with a local group, and this is nothing set in stone yet. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know if any of you remember Alpine Rose Farms.
Alpine Road.
Alpenrose.
Alpine Rose.
It's the very best.
All right,
That was your slogan.
that's what I've heard. They did a holiday event called Storybrooke Lane for years. And this company that's local, when they auctioned off all of their decorations, they bought like 7 of them. So like the 6-foot houses that light up that were inside those buildings, they have them and they want to donate them to the Winterfest experience. So they're talking about coming out and having a event tent where they can host that kind of same mini Storybrooke Lane here at Mining Park, which has been pretty exciting working with them and how it's going. Nothing's set in stone. They're really excited. They came in late, but they reached out to us and loved what we did last year. And we're just trying to really upgrade that experience and make it as beautiful for the city as we can.
Excellent.
And then Mountain Fest Youth Basketball is just recruiting coaches, reps, teams, gym space, all of that stuff, which is equally as good for the community.
What's the age limit on that?
This one is the 3rd and 4th grade league, and then the 5th and 6th grade league, boys and girls. Yeah. Registration's open till mid-November, and then games start in January, runs through March.
Very good. All righty, anything else?
I don't think so.
Any? Or board members have anything for the good of the order?
Work maybe? Oh, yeah, I can give you an update on that, or would you like to?
No, feel free. You
All right.
can go to work.
I am the staff representative for a park naming committee that is made up of 2 board members, Ryan and Will, our council liaison, Lori Smallwood, and then 3 community members, Hans Whipper, Liz Mackey, and John Hamblin. And we have met a couple times, and we have now vetted all the entries. And basically, the chair and co-chair have decided that we're just going to let the data speak for itself. There was 10 entries that had multiple entries, right? So, for example, one of the entries was Pioneer Park. There was multiple people that suggested that. So that is going to be one of the ones that goes through the committee's naming ranking system, and then back out to the public when it's whittled down to like a top 3 or 5 or whatever it is.
How many total did we receive?
144 complete entries. Yeah,
Nice.
so that's, I mean, pretty good as far as community surveys coming back in.
And of those, how many were suggesting the name Too Good Park?
Too many. We found them out early. You know,
There we go.
repeated IP address, yeah. Yeah.
All righty. Anything else? No? Then we stand adjourned.
All right. Thank you.